Good afternoon, everybody. What a challenge. It's already about 1:20:25, and our time management has been torn to shreds. So while food is waiting outside, let me try and give you some food for thought here. Mr. Bhushan, whom I know for several decades, and I always admire and respect him. Professor Dhoop, I thank him for organizing all this. Again, I've known him for a long time, combines academics and corporate very well. There are other people known to me, Sri Bhattacharya, Sumit, Nayar Saab's vibrations are very beautiful. Professor Ali and Professor Agarwal, so many people. And dear and wonderful students. Just a couple of things before I begin. Bhattacharya Saab was saying that top 200, there is no university. My Punjab University is the top ranked university in the country, where I did MBA from University Business School. It still doesn't come in the top 200, but it's somewhere there. Sumit was mentioning about FMS. My good old Delhi College of Engineering was the mother institute of both IIT and FMS, but of course it was an engineering institution, so Sumit is still right about management. Very briefly, in an experience span of 32 years, top half in the corporate world and the last half in the field of academics. 16 years ago, I had written 6 little books. I call them pocket books because you can keep them in your pocket, each containing 101 small simple thoughts which we can apply in our lives. Then I kind of coined a concept called total quality person. We all know TQM. This is TQP. The premise is everything begins with the self. So why am I here? What is the purpose of my life? What is work-life balance? What is holistic happiness and success? So based on our scriptures, ancient wisdom, Indian ethos, and packaged and shared in a simple but hopefully very powerful way. So last 15, 16 years, it's become a mission of life to touch people, to try and make a difference. So I've taken it all over the country, 20, 25 cities, and I share it with all segments. I have done about 500, 600 workshops. Now that is a 1-day, 2-day program. We have 30 odd stories. Some will make you laugh, some will make you cry. But each will come with a lesson of life. There are about 10 games, again with a take home. There are assignments, there are cases. But because of the extreme paucity of time, I'll just touch upon some of the powerful aspects of this module. You know, all of us need to have, regardless of our label of specialization, a marketing orientation and a human resource mindset. Both are people related, one with outside, one with our colleagues. Marketing orientation puts people, you can put anybody in the center of your universe, as parents, maybe children, as teachers, students. And for salespeople, it will be customers. And look at their needs and requirements. The wonderful paradox of marketing is, by looking at somebody else's needs and requirements, our own needs and requirements are met. The HR mindset says, everybody not only has goodness and potential, but each one of us is divine. There is this treasure island lurking inside this small body of ours. And many of us are completely unaware of that. So a leader with an HR mindset will understand this and will try and bring out, because what is visible is only the tip of the iceberg. So we'll bring out this huge powerhouse, not only for the benefit of the person concerned, but for the benefit of everybody. Some of the questions we need to ask ourselves: are we a crowd of people or are we a nation of citizens? Are we going to be like the crows who came and left without doing anything? Or are we going to be like the select few who came to this world, touched people and made a difference? I think quality of life is about how and not how long. We can live up to 90 and not do much, or we can have a short, sweet and wonderful life. Now the spiritual quotient which Bhattacharya Saab was talking about is the source of all this. A right understanding of who am I and why am I here, if we are able to play our roles and responsibilities and relationships with the perfect understanding of who am I and why am I here, imagine the quality of our relationships and the richness of this world. We'll be living in a different planet. Now, one thing which I want to say is I've decided to do away with the slides because of shortage of time. It's a soul talk anyway. So you can, take a copy of your slides by being in touch with Professor Dhoop. It's all installed in the system. Now, who are the people who influence us in our journey of becoming a total quality person? One is the person herself or himself. Somebody once approached Blaise Pascal, the famous French philosopher, and told him, "I wish I had your brains, I'll be a better person." Pascal turned around and replied, "Be a better person first, you will automatically have my brains." So it's a matter of the heart. Organizations are measured by feelings, attitudes, and relationships. It is the little things that make a big difference. Parents. Parents are endless reservoirs of love. It is this beautiful thing that you dip into it and take love, and it replenishes automatically as if by magic. They are our walking, talking gods to be cherished and honored. It's very clear that we are here because of them. They are not here because of us. The world's most effective recording systems are not in the showrooms of LG and Samsung. They are in the young generation's minds. What we say, what we do, and who we are all recorded and stored to be played back to us later. Jaise karni, waise hi bharni. So that's why I'm very fond of telling the young generation that what we leave for the young generation in terms of material abundance like property and money and so on is not fractionally as important as what we leave in them in terms of values, ethics, and morals. Because when you leave these, you have left everything worth leaving. Then, of course, teachers, your faculty members here, truly correctly called the windows to God. The true guru, dispenser of ignorance, dispenser of darkness, or the teacher, is indeed just like when you open the window or draw the Venetian blinds, you can see the scenery outside. The true guru will clear your mind so that you can experience vibrations both in the cosmos and within. Now, I'm sure you've all seen a movie called Bawarchi, have you? Hrishikesh Mukherjee's classic, released much before you were born, but they keep showing it on TV. If you get a chance, do see it. It is what I'd love to call as a TQP movie, full of beautiful thoughts and values, with the hero of my time, the eternal Rajesh Khanna, playing the professor turned cook. So he comes out with some beautiful quotes, not in Hindi but in English. And one of the beautiful things he says in the beginning of the movie is, "It is so simple to be happy, but it is so difficult to be simple." So we'll try and keep it very simple. Have you seen Baghban? What is the meaning of the word Baghban? Garden or gardener? Yeah, gardener, Mali. So just like the gardens of NDIM will not be what it is if the Mali Baghban was not maintaining them. If the Baghban was not there, the Bagh will have only wild weeds. Similarly, we are the Baghban of the garden of our mind. Unless we tend to our mind, what it will invariably generate will be poor, vicious, and negative thoughts. Now, there is a small model, where I suggest that we invest 3 qualities in people: trust, empathy, and respect. That results in all-round motivation and success of the organization, and equally applicable in our personal lives. If you invest these 3 qualities in relationships, what you get is magical, enduring, and win-win relationships. Now, what are some of the ways of becoming more effective? The first is smile more often. I see some very serious faces here. Your lunch is not going anywhere. So can we have a smile? Is this the best you can do? Little bit more. See, that's it. When you smile, the room is lit up like a 1,000-watt bulb. Let's face it, whether we are morose or sad or smile, the world is going to go on. So we might as well smile. Smile is the salute from a soul to a fellow soul, जो हमने artificial layers इतने सारे बना के रखे हैं. IIT, DC, MBA, PhD, director, president, इन सबको चीरते हुए, when a soul recognizes a kindred soul and salutes that soul, that's when the smile comes. So let's not deprive us and of the world of this beautiful thing called a smile. Body language. Studies have shown that what we speak, जिसके लिए हम इतना invest करते हैं, time, energy, effort and money, our accent, our language, it accounts for 10% of the impact of communication. 40% is how we speak. Are we speaking rudely and crudely and angrily and hurting others? Or are we speaking with charm and grace and dignity and class and love and affection? You might say perfectly valid things, but if you're rude and crude about it, nobody's listening to you. They may be scared of you, but they're not listening to you. And a whopping 50% is courtesy body language. Our expressions, our posture, gestures. So something which may or may not be in our control is giving half the impact of communication. So if body language is with us, then we are very powerful communicators. Strong, powerful, good, wonderful, effective. If the body language 50% impact is against us, we are shallow, hollow, weak communicators. So every time we say what we mean and mean what we say, in short, speak the truth. Forget about 5, name one instance where body language will not support us. It will, it has to. Then of course we have personal image. Sachin Tendulkar. The other day somebody was mentioning he's perhaps the best ever and yet he's so humble. Everybody respects him, loves him, adores him. I said, correction. Sachin is humble and that is why he's great. Leadership. When you talk of leadership, enough has been said. Mr. Bhattacharya was talking about Raja Rishi, combining the energy and passion of a king or a queen along with the wisdom and maturity of a rishi, of a sage, Raja Rishi. Shrestha, enlightened citizens. Now leadership also means effective communication. I just gave you some aspects of communication. There are others as well. Listening, building emotional bank accounts. Character, what you are thunders so loudly in my ears that I am not able to hear what you say. Character is the most eloquent communicator. And then social graces, etiquettes and manners. How are we outside this hall? Now just to drive home the fact that language is not the only important aspect in communication. It is important but definitely not the only important one. Here are a couple of extreme examples. Take it with a pinch of salt, don't take it very seriously. Let me attempt to give you these examples. Let me take a few deep breaths as Bhattacharya Sahib was mentioning. Now listen to this and tell me whether you're able to make anything from this. A doctor was called to doctor another doctor. Would the doctoring doctor doctor the doctor in the doctoring doctor's way, or would the doctoring doctor doctor the doctor in the doctored doctor's way? Was anything clear? But perfect language. So if language was the only important thing in communication, everything should have been clear. Now the other extreme example is that of my good old chemistry teacher in school. He used to come to the class with 2 test tubes. One empty and the other full. And this is what he used to tell us. Don't pour it. Pour it. And then do it and do this and do. So pour it meaning pour it slowly, otherwise everything will spill, and do mixing or shaking. Poor communication or poor language, but everything was clear. Now I'm not saying that all of us should speak like this, but all I'm saying is language is not the only important aspect in communication. Now, what are some of the important aspects of a total quality person? The commandments, I would say, of a TQP in the spiritual connotation. The first is integrity. Mathe pe likha hona chahiye, not for sale. Because the moment you have a price, there will be a buyer. The price can be of any kind. I assure you there will be buyers. So unless this sign is there and it's clearly visible to everybody, I don't think there is really any chance for us to lead a happy, peaceful life. See, the important thing is some of the original qualities we have: happiness, peace, love, purity, power, bliss, joy, anand. Now these are the original qualities with which we were born. And then, so many other qualities are derived from these qualities. So we select 5, 10, 15 of these values which are important to us. We internalize those values and lead our lives in that way. Then we experience a lot of peace, because if we are consistent with our values, we experience a lot of peace. Now there are about 30 odd values which I normally show in my chart, and each value is connected with a very powerful story. जिसे कहते हैं wrong se khade hone wale kind. But I cannot share any of these. Just a few I'd like to share. One value is faith. It is said that several decades ago, President Kennedy was having a conversation with his top scientist of that time, Dr. Werner von Braun. And the topic of the conversation was, what will it take us to reach the moon for the first time? Those days it was still a pipe dream. The president was bracing for answers like, it will take this much of technology, that many people, this much of money. All that brilliant man said was so simple and so true. The will to do it. Everything else is secondary and will fall in place if we have the will to do it. Walt Disney, magic, who doesn't know him? Now, first he made Disneyland and then he created Disney World. Now, a few weeks before the opening of Disney World, Sir Walt Disney passed away. So this was the inaugural function. The Magic Kingdom was here. Roy Disney, Walt Disney's brother, was here. And these were the newspaper people. So one newspaper person, journalist, stood up and addressed himself to Roy Disney, pointing to the Disney World. He said, so sad that Walt Disney is not here to see this. And Roy Disney replied, he had already seen it and that is why it is there. Much before anybody, Walt Disney had visualized it. Edmund Hillary, Sir Edmund Hillary, we all know him as the first man to set foot on the peak of Mount Everest. But not many of us perhaps are aware of the fact that he did so not after 1, 2 or 3 attempts, after 17 unsuccessful attempts. During one such attempt, you know what he did? He shook his fist at the peak and shouted at the peak, today you have defeated me, but I'll come back and conquer you, because you cannot get any bigger. I can. And he did. How could the mountain peak become bigger? Maybe a few millimeters because of atmospheric conditions. But when Sir Edmund Hillary took recourse to his own innate divinity, he became bigger. The iceberg, the entire treasure island came out and he conquered Mount Everest. There are various stories of this kind. There's no time. There is just one account of a young man in a wartime situation, chased by half a dozen enemy soldiers. And then he was hiding in a cave. The enemies were approaching him. Footsteps could be heard. The young man was your age, maybe early 20s, and he didn't want to die. He was scared. His heart was beating wildly out of control, pounding. And he prayed to God in that moment of desperation. He said, God, just save me this once. I assure you, I'll devote the rest of my time in your favor. As soon as he said this, he saw a small spider at the entrance of the cave and started weaving its web. And the young man was wondering, I had asked God for protection and God has sent a spider. How can a spider save me? So the first of the enemy soldier was about to come, by which time the young man started believing in the word impossible. Impossible is I am possible. Nothing is impossible. He said, I'm going to die. So let me die fighting. I'm not going to die without a fight. So the first of the enemy soldier was about to enter. The young man was bracing for a fight, by which time the spider had woven the web. So from a position of giving up on life, the young man was able to hear the first enemy soldier tell his friends that there is a spider's web here. Nobody could have come here. He's not here. Let's go. He lived to see another day and kept his promise to God by giving workshops like the Total Quality Person. And he shared with his audience that where there is no faith, a stone wall is only a spider's web. And where there is faith, a spider's web is a stone wall. Then we have a value called courage, himmat, sahas. Again, some hair-raising true stories. I don't have the time, but a couple comes to my mind very quickly. Radha Maheda, 14 years of age, girl of 14 years, how she saved herself and her little sister from the clutches of a fierce leopard. They are tribals in Madhya Pradesh, sleeping in a hut. One night, this girl gets up in the middle of the night to see a fierce leopard dragging her kid sister out of the tent. If you can visualize this, can you imagine what she did? Radha Maheda jumps on the leopard and starts fighting with it. If you can imagine this, can you imagine what the leopard did? After a few minutes of fight, the leopard threw both the girls and ran away. So journalists were asking the two sisters, Radha and Savli Maheda, I mean, what kind of phenomena is this? Do you call it courage or something else? How could you just jump on the leopard? And Radha Maheda's answer was very simple. She said, my one-point agenda in that moment of horror was how to save my sister and myself from the leopard. And I did the only thing that came to my mind. I pounced on the leopard. She goes on to add that while fighting, there were moments when the leopard's face was this close to her, red, blood-hot eyes heaving and panting at her. We discussed empathy. Can you empathize with that little girl? We all know what Radha Maheda saw because she's here to tell us. Who knows what the leopard saw? The leopard is not here to tell us what he saw. Maybe what the leopard saw was such fierce will and determination and courage that he threw the girls and ran away. Mohammad Javed, 18 years of age. There was this fire outside Meerut about 3-4 years ago. Everything was a burning inferno. Mohammad Javed was here, the fire was there. All he had to do was to go home. But he doesn't go home. He jumps inside the fire, saves the little boy, puts him down. Doesn't go home even now. He jumps yet again, saves the little girl, puts her down. Doesn't go home even now. Jumps again and yet again. In that fateful evening, he saves 4 small children from certain death. In the process, gets 95% burns. He's admitted in Safdarjung Hospital where he dies later. His mother was heard weeping and wailing. मेरा बच्चा कितना खूबसूरत था, जल गया. तो क्या कहेंगे आप? All I can say is, ये लोग अपनी जान अपने हथेली पे लेके चलते हैं. मर जाते हैं शायद, लेकिन हमेशा जिंदा रहते हैं. In the hearts of the people they touch, they live forever. They are like this Amardeep, the eternal light of life and love, who live for others and live forever. Then there is a value called generosity. Nothing to do with bank balance. There is this IIT flyover here. When you come from Munirka and come via the outer ring road, you turn right for Sri Aurobindo Ashram, with which I have been associated for 30-35 years, and my colony, Sarvodaya Enclave. Now, underneath that signal, there are some beggar children. I don't know what they see in other people and what they see in my eyes. As soon as I approach the signal, they come running, when they see the car and said, "Uncle, uncle." And whatever little I have, I give it. My children, Disha and Gaurav, are also very compassionate and generous. So one day, my daughter Disha and I were in the car, and the car had stopped for the signal, and out came a small beggar boy, shining eyes. That time I had nothing to give. I said, "Sorry beta, aaj to kuch bhi nahi hai dene ke liye." You know what he did? He had a 1-flower bouquet, which he gives it to my daughter Disha and says, "Ye aapke liye hai, aur iske liye aapko kuch dene ki zarurat nahi hai." So I was left wondering, who is rich and who is poor? Are we rich? We seem to have so many things. How often have we thought of helping the poor and the needy? And that boy, he was willing to part with the only thing he had, which could have been his passport to the next meal. Generosity. Gratitude, counting blessings. While traveling on a car, our car sometimes, scratches past another car. So there is a scratch or a dent. So what happens in Delhi NCR? Road rage, shooting. जैसे एक पिक्चर में आई थी, उठते नहीं, उठ जाते हैं. Even if we are lucky enough to escape that shot, choicest galis are given in Hindi, English and Punjabi. The car is long gone and you are neither able to see the driver nor the car, and your dent is very much there. But unless these galis are given, तब जाके सुकून की सांस ले पाते हैं. Now, I'm not undermining the importance or diluting the importance of that scratch, but compare it with, God forbid, a person in the family or your friends being diagnosed of cancer. Is there a comparison? So why are we fretting and fuming over these comparatively smaller things when by God's grace the bigger things are in place? Can we count blessings? I'm not saying don't aspire for more, but can that aspiration be from a base of stability, happiness, peace? The final value which I want to share with you today, patriotism, love for the country. Somebody goes outside, looks up at the heavens and shouts at God, Oh God, look at the world you have created. There is so much of misery. There is suicide, murders, dacoity, rape, robberies, terrorism. Why don't you come and do something? And God quietly replies, I have already done something. I have sent you. मैंने अपना काम कर लिया है, अब आप अपना काम कीजिए. We all want a great world, fine, but we want somebody else to make it good for us. There is this account of an American, of a Japanese and an Indian, and the topic of discussion is, if I were not this, who would I like to be? The American says, if I was not an American, I'd love to be a Japanese. Looks at the Japanese and smiles. The Japanese smiles back and nods and bows and smiles as they keep doing, and then says, if I was not a Japanese, I'd love to be an American. So both of them look a little condescendingly at the Indian, as if to ask him or to tell him, what are you going to say? We have said it all. And the Indian proudly gets up and says, if I was not an Indian, I'll be ashamed. I don't want to be anything but an Indian. This is the power of patriotism. There is an account of this traveler traveling from country to country with a one-point agenda to call up heaven. So he comes to the US, goes to a phone booth and says, I want to call up heaven. How much should I pay? $500. Goes to UK and says, I want to call up heaven. How much should I pay? £250. So like that, he travels from country to country. At the end, at last, wearily, tiredly, he comes to India and enters the phone booth and says, I want to call up heaven. How much should I pay? And the phone booth operator says, 2 rupees. He nearly faints of shock. I have exhausted all my fortune in paying through my nose, and you are saying 2 rupees. How come? And the proud PCO phone booth operator says, you have already entered heaven. Welcome to the only heaven on earth. From here, it is a local call, sir, and we charge only 2 rupees for local calls. That's it. Very quickly, in the last 5 minutes, let me try and give you a wrap-up. Success. What is success? Is it a lot of money? Is it comfort? You have to define your paribhasha of success. Pardon? Wow, what a point. Please give him a hand. Success is satisfaction. Success is feeling light, beautiful and stable. हर इंटरैक्शन में पॉजिटिव एनर्जी एक्सचेंज करना, हर रिलेशनशिप में देना. सर वॉज मेंशनिंग, आई ऑल्सो फील लाइफ इज नॉट गिव एंड टेक, लाइफ इज गिव एंड गिव, बिकॉज वेन यू गिव यू आर ऑलरेडी रिसीविंग. टू गिव इज टू गेन. We may make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Success is हर परिस्थिति में stable रहना. The Bhagavad Gita talks of sthita pragya, person of stable mind. Situations can change, good, challenging, difficult, but unless you have a stable mind, I don't think you have plenty chances of addressing those challenging situations. Different times and all shall pass. That is why it's called the wheel of life. And then happiness. There is this Acres of Diamonds, a very powerful book written by Russell Conwell. In case you have it in your library, please read it. Otherwise, maybe you can acquire it. This tells the story of a poor farmer who sells his house, and from whatever little money he makes, he goes far and wide in search of diamonds. The story says that at the end of that search, the farmer is penniless, diamonds are not to be found, and ironically, the person who bought this house from the farmer, he is able to find those diamonds in that very house. जिसके लिए दुनिया भर में तलाश की इसने. That is happiness. जिसके लिए हम relationships में ढूंढते हैं, achievements, acquisitions, promotions, whatever. It has always been inside of us. We are happiness, we are bliss, we are power. Anand Swaroop. And the glass is already full. All we need to do is not to spill from that glass. Every time we get irritated or angry or upset, we are spilling from that glass. Then of course we have stress issues, very little time. Good old physics school days, we read stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. Now pressure is given, everybody is under pressure. What about the denominator? That depends only on us. Antarik Shakti. So the denominator with Antarik Shakti expands. Where is the question of stress? That is where yoga, meditation, pranayama, the internal strength, resilience. Bhagavad Gita again talks about Nishkama Karma. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Don't be obsessed with the result. Give your best in whatever is there in your control. At every point of life, the results will come because there is a lot of clarity, there is a lot of focus. We don't carry unnecessary baggages. जब छुट्टियों में निकल पड़ते हैं, we travel light. जिंदगी की यात्रा में we carry such heavy baggages. मुझे उनसे better बोलना है. I want to have this much of money. I want to. Why? So the mind is getting clouded, and ironically, we don't achieve anything. If the mind is crystal clear and razor sharp, we end up achieving those things about which we are not really obsessed. And this is not only me talking, it's Matthew Ferry also talking, the famous international sales consultant. Matthew Ferry was here a few years ago, here meaning India. And this is what he said to his invited audience. Matthew Ferry said, every time, this was based on his research findings and his experience, every time he approached a customer with the mantra, how may I serve you, without bothering much about will I achieve my target, will I close the sale, will I make money, will I have a good lifestyle. Just one point mantra, how may I serve you. He closed 100% of his orders and, hold your breath, additionally experienced a sense of bliss and euphoria while giving presentations. So Matthew Ferry goes on to add, sales, like all principles of life, work best when done on spiritual practices. That is the power of our scriptures, as Bhattacharya Sahib was mentioning. Let's get inspired by all the philosophies, but let's also realize, be very clear that there is a mountain of wealth in our own philosophy. Now, finally, I just want to ask you a question. Or in fact, very quickly, 3 questions. They are rhetoric questions. I don't think anybody will be able to answer, frankly. At least I won't be. Name the last 3 Miss Universe winners. We have to go to the nearest Google search, right? And I'm also, like some of my colleagues here, absolutely zero in technologies. With great difficulty, I manage an email. The second question, name the last 3 Oscar Award winners, Best Actor. Last 3. इस साल मुश्किल से याद आ जाएगा. Last 3. Name the last 3 Nobel Prize winners in your favorite area. Economics, chemistry, physics, peace, whatever. Very difficult. We are not able to get the answers. Now, why is this happening? They are the ultimate achievers. They have lots of fame, name, money, everything. Yet we don't remember them. That is because trophies gather dust. The applause dies and winners are soon forgotten. Now let me rephrase these questions with the following questions and see whether you can get the answers. Name 3 teachers who helped you in your education. Think of a few friends with whom you'd like to spend some time right now. Name a few people who made a difference in your life. The answers will come like this. You don't have to think. They are not necessarily the top achievers, but they are the people who matter to us. I leave it to you to figure out which list you'd like to belong. 100 years from now, why 100 years even now, it may not make a difference as to what kind of clothes I wore, which car I drove, how much money I had in my bank account, and what my house looked like. But the world may be a better place if I made a difference in the lives of others. This could be a personal mission statement. We know organizational mission statements. This could be your PMS. Now, therefore, if I ask you, my young and wonderful students, how would you like to be remembered? I just have time for just 1 or 2 responses. Can I have some responses quickly? How would you like to be remembered? Best person around. Anybody else?
As a good human being.
Wonderful. As a good human being. Great. Now, this is the kind of responses I get in my workshops also. Hardworking, good human being, cheerful, who made a difference, who came back. And I'm very proud of these responses. Who wouldn't be? But my gentle request or rider to you all would be that if we want to be remembered as somebody, we have to be that somebody. We cannot be what we are and expect the world to remember us in these beautiful way. Be the change you want to be in this world. Lovely. Now, as Alfred Nobel very painfully realized, Alfred Nobel, as you're all aware, is credited or rather discredited with the discovery of the dynamite. Now, one day, bade shaan se newspaper घुमाते हुए, with a cup of tea, he saw his own obituary. Obituary, something which is written after one dies, So he was shocked. He was very much alive. His obituary had appeared in the newspapers. Very small confusion had occurred. His brother had died, and newspaper people promptly thought Alfred Nobel was dead and published his obituary. As if this was not shocking enough, what was mentioned in the obituary was even more shocking. Normally obituary सबके लिए कुछ ना कुछ अच्छे लिख देते हैं, but इनके लिए ये था, merchant of death dies. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Who wants to have such people in this world? And then Alfred Nobel realized this is how he is going to be remembered. He didn't want to be remembered like that. Then he set up the Nobel Peace Prize. And today, Sir Alfred Nobel, as he is called, is remembered more for the Nobel Prize than for the dynamite. Now, he was fortunate enough to read his obituary. I don't think we'll be that lucky. So we'll have to figure out today at this moment, how would we like to be remembered? At the end, my friends, just a couple of things and I'm through. I'm standing between you and lunch. What is this? And what is this now? Paper chhod ke jaun? 500. It is wrinkled and crumpled and crushed, but it retains a value. It's a 500 rupee note. So similarly, sometimes this kind of a thing can happen to us. We feel wrinkled and crumpled and pushed to a corner. We feel worthless. But let's always remember that our intrinsic divine light, we are and we will always be priceless and precious. We are special. Each one of us has qualities which can make somebody else's eyes light up and shine. What is that qualities that has got to be figured out. The second incident, we are driving through a busy highway. There is a big stone right in the middle of the traffic. So what do most of us do? We go around the stone. उससे ये भी additionally इंडिया के बारे में 2-4 चीजें कह के इस कंट्री का सत्यानाश हो, कुछ नहीं होगा, ये सब कहते हुए we go. But I would like to think exactly that some of you, what's your name? Hitanshu and his friends will stop, will get out of their car, will heave and push and pant and move the stone away, will sweat, and who knows when they come back to where the stone was, could be a small piece of paper on which could well be written the golden words, you are the true wealth of the nation. You are the future. You are the nation builders. So by giving me an opportunity to be of some seva to you, I have actually believed that I'm serving the nation because you are the nation. We are the past and probably present. You are the future. Now, values. When US did a survey as to the reason for the financial meltdown, there was just one thing which came into mind, which came into light, not 3-4 factors, just one factor. What was that factor? Anybody? That financial meltdown which resulted in depression and suicides and whatever, economy going bust. What was that factor? Exactly. So these were the derived factors. The basic factor was lack of values, or in short, greed. Not me saying, but US found it out. Now, the tragedy of life, therefore, friends, is not death. Because on a very physical way, that's 100 on 100. Nobody is going to escape it. So how can that be a tragedy? On a spiritual level, we are Ajar, Amar, Avinashi. We are eternal. So either way, it's not a tragedy. The tragedy of life is not death. The tragedy of life is what we allow to die inside of us while we are still alive. Sare values, everything goes haywire. एक खोखली जिंदगी जीते हैं, जिंदा लाश बन के, उधार की जिंदगी. मौत से पहले कई बार मर जाते हैं. हमें मरने से पहले मरना नहीं है, हमें तो मरने के बाद भी जिंदा रहना है. And that can happen only with values and power. At the end, I end with a very heartwarming story which is dedicated to the teachers and students